Believe it or not, the Arizona Cardinals offense is good as is. Patrick Peterson had some interesting words to say about Kyler Murray. And is the Arizona Cardinals defense the best unit in the NFC West? Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AC Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen free wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Turn any TV into your Xbox. No console needed. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to learn more. Got a jam show today. Have a jam show today. The offense is good as is. Let me explain, okay? Let me get there. Patrick Peterson was on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams earlier and had some interesting things to say about Kyler Murray that irked me. We'll discuss that. And then it's just a question, okay? Sight unseen, because we haven't seen it on the field yet as a unit, but is the Arizona Cardinals defense the best unit in the NFC West? You know, comparing offense or defense to the other three teams and the Cardinals offense, you know, throw it in there also. Discuss it. I think it's a fun exercise to do. I'm already lining up for next week. Hosts from the college Locked On shows who've covered the Cardinals draft picks. Okay. Already locked up Jay Stevens from Ohio State. Got the 4th and 5th round pick locked in. Locked On Ducks on deck for Wednesday. Okay. So I'm starting to build it. And then on Friday, I'm gearing up to have a Draft Network dude who's been sending me clips of guys for months, and persistence pays off. I want to get him on too. He does a fantastic job over there. So it's gonna be a deep dive next week. I think taking a beat instead of diving right into it is the best way to do it. So we're gonna do it. This is my ninth season covering this. They're doing this podcast, and it's worked. And I think that this is gonna be the most fun cycle we've had from end of season to free agency to draft to camp to week 1, and it's, you know, off to a rousing start. The offense is good as is, okay, and this is a shift because the Cardinals didn't go offensive line or didn't go wide receiver in early rounds. You weren't expecting them to do the latter. They did draft an offensive lineman, a big beefy dude out of Texas in the 6th round, okay, who can play all positions. And what Monty Ossenforn has shown up until this point is he does a very, very good job scouting offensive line talent. So we'll see. Okay. But the reason why the offense is good as is, there's a couple things that have shifted that are tangentially correlated to the offense, but not directly. The first one, the biggest one, is the defense is exponentially more talented now than it was at the start of last season. At the start of last season, there were nothing but question marks. Some good, some not so great. Ones we've been, you know, grown accustomed to during the Steve Keim years of, is this player good? Should this player be starting? It wasn't so much that. It was more which players are going to pop to kind of, you know, mold this defense into what it's going to be for the future. And they, more times than not, lived up and beyond to their talent level. Okay. But throughout that, and this was never said, it was never stated, because obviously you never throw one side of the ball under the bus or not. It had to affect Drew Petzing's play calling. It had to. The Cardinals were so run heavy last year. And I know Kyler had games where he threw the ball 25, 30 times. A lot was dink and dunk. A lot were, you know, extended handoffs, things like that, because time of possession, I talked a lot about this last summer. Like, time of possession for the Cardinals was their biggest attribute. Their best defense was keeping the offense on the field. And it had to seep into the cerebellum of Drew Petzing and Kyler Murray's decision-making to not put the defense in bad situations and try to keep the offense on the field as much as possible. What happened was the offense looked very anemic at times. The defense looked superhuman at times. And it was kind of, we don't know which side was up. You're trapped in an avalanche and you have to spit to see which way is north. Survival tale. Bear Grylls taught me that, I think. The offense doesn't have to worry at all anymore. And that may be a complete cop-out. It may end up being a complete cop-out if the offense doesn't pop this year more than it did last year. And ready to eat that if that happens. But the best friend of an offense is a great defense. I think that's pretty obvious. And that's the first one. So tangentially, because they're wearing the same uniforms and they're a part of the same team, obviously that's going to affect the offense, number one. Number two, and this is the one that's the question mark. This is the one that needs to happen for the offense to be good as is, okay? Drew Petzing and Kyler Murray need to figure out the right wrinkles to put in place in an effort to unlock this offense's full potential. That's the big one. And I think the offense, skill position players, it's fine. If you run it back right now, I'm good. I've said it all offseason, I'm good. You want to add a piece, like, what is Elijah Moore going to do for this team? It's like, give me a break, guys. What is Amari Cooper going to do? There's already rumblings he's going to go back to Dallas, whatever. Like, that's great. He'd be a great locker room guy. He'd probably catch 20 balls this year. It's like, what's the point? What's the point? I'd rather give Xavier Weaver some rip than bring in a vet. They've got Zay Jones if they need a guy who's short-handed who can catch the ball down the field, who's a big, wide outside receiver. I think Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch are fine for a third option in the passing game. Trey McBride 1, Marvin Harrison 2, until Marvin Harrison rips it away from you. You hope that that's, a neck-and-neck race at Daytona coming down the stretch this year where it's like, no, I'm the number one. No, I'm the number one. That's a good problem for the Cardinals to have, and I would assume that to happen much higher percentage-wise than it not. But the rest, that's Drew Petzing and Kyler Murray finding the skill position players the Cardinals already have more than they have over the last season and a half when Kyler Murray's been healthy. Why bring in Elijah Moore when you have Greg Dortch? Why? All Greg Dortch has done is produced when he's given the opportunity. He knows the offense. They need to figure out how to unlock it. Michael Wilson, while injured oft during his rookie season, he's not the fastest receiver. Nobody said he ever was. What Michael Wilson does is wins against the sideline. Every time a ball's thrown to him, he gets 2 feet down, he catches the ball. Like, you can use his skill set as a B minus receiver a lot more than they have up until this point, okay? And with that, the reason for all of this is Drew Petzing and Kyler Murray need to massage this offense into more of a passing offense. Run the ball first, and if this is the year where you're going to figure out if Kyler Murray's the guy, put the ball in his hands more. See what happens. Maybe not off tackle first down, off tackle second down, 3rd and 6. Maybe not. You use the run to set up play action. Kyler Murray can whip it, man. He can throw the ball down the field with the best of them. Let him. So when I say the offense is good as is, I guess I'll go back to the cliff. Like, the Cardinals movie trailer for the offense, Oscar worthy. The actual movie is like a 81 on Rotten Tomatoes or 70. I don't know what's like average, just above average. Like a 77 on Rotten Tomatoes of what it absolutely could be. And that's the 0-1 jump that needs to happen if the Cardinals want to win 10 plus games and get to the playoffs this year. That's it. But talent-wise, set and forget. I'm good. At this point, you've got to trust Monty Osborne and Jonathan Gannon and Drew Petzing and Justin Fry, the offensive line coach, that they've got the talent on the offensive line. Otherwise, they would have addressed it early. And, there's free agents around. Brandon Scherff is around. There's guys that are around who used to be really expensive who aren't anymore. Like, they brought in a couple of undrafted free agents on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive line, to bring some beef. Like, at this point, there's not one player out there who could spark this offense to the point where it's worth bringing them in. The Cardinals have it in-house. They just need to know how to utilize it better. They need to know how to utilize the talent better. That's on Drew Petzing and Kyler Murray being in the lab until week 1. Because there's no safety net anymore. Either it works this year or we're having wildly different conversations. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Patrick Peterson had some things to say about Kyler Murray on the Up and Adams show earlier. That'll be fun to talk about next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. You ever check your bank account and wonder where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you just stop managing your money and start building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's a whole lot of savings, man. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals, hit that subscribe button, and turn notifications on. You know the drill. The feedback and everything has been great. Keep leaving comments. Keep sending me DMs until you're not allowed to anymore on Twitter. We've got something in the fall where we're going to be able to connect a little bit more, which will be fun. I always love interacting, whether it's agreeing, debating, everything in between. I love it, love it, love it. If you do want to go leave a review on Apple Podcasts, I had a couple angry fans from different teams just plummet my rating. It doesn't really matter to me, but if you do want to take 30 seconds or a minute and leave some kind words, I'd appreciate it. So Patrick Peterson was on Up and Adams with Kay Adams earlier today. And he was asked about a bunch of different things, and he was asked if he and Kyler Murray have a relationship. And paraphrasing, he said, no, but we will. And then, Kay asked some very good questions. Her and Matt Hamilton, her producer over there, do a fantastic job over there. He was then, asked about Kyler, his earlier years, and if he's grown as a player and things like that. And Patrick Peterson pretty much went on to say that he didn't like some of the things that Kyler Murray was doing early on from afar, he said, because he was in Minnesota and then in Pittsburgh. And all he did after leaving the Cardinals was bash the Cardinals. All he did while with the Cardinals was ask for a trade twice and then get popped for PEDs the first 6 weeks of Kyler's rookie year. So what I want to do now is quote one of my favorite movies, not the Blitz All Night one, not the Blitz All Night quote, which is my favorite quote from Remember the Titans, but Julius Campbell says, attitude reflects leadership. Where was Patrick Peterson when this team needed him? When things weren't all hunky-dory like they were in 2014 and 2015, where was Patrick Peterson? Yapping, complaining, requesting a trade. And I will say, I do need to say this. Patrick Peterson, a person, sweetheart. Him and his wife did fantastic work charity-wise and everything in Phoenix while he was here. This isn't about him as a person. This is about him as an avatar of the person as a football player who did what he did after things went sideways. Where was he? Requesting trades, leaving Byron Murphy, rookie corner, out to dry because he got popped for PEDs because he cheated. And all he's done since leaving the Cardinals is yap negative things about the team. And now because things are starting to get on the up and up and he wants to get in the Ring of Honor, now everything's hunky-dory? What are we doing here? Patrick Peterson is one of the most respected cornerbacks in the history of football. That doesn't mean that you can just say whatever you want and people just forget. That's my biggest issue with it. Go check out the full interview on Up and Adams. Again, they do a great job. But yeah, I had to say something. It's not that Kyler Murray has been, the model leader, the model quarterback, the model person. It took him a while to grow into the role, to learn how to lead, to learn how to be, this isn't an excuse. It's a reason. All he did growing up was just step on the football field and he was the best. So when you get drafted to a team that's perennially dysfunctional, you're coached by a guy who had no business being an NFL head coach. Your GM should have been fired multiple times before you got drafted. And your owner doesn't know how to run a football team. That's where it was in 2019. So, yeah, Kyler definitely could have done better things. And he had no shot. on growing into that role as a rookie, as a 21-year-old should be able to. And this isn't an original story. There's plenty of organizations that are dysfunctional. While Kyler Murray could have done a better job early, he showed flashes, the oh my God moments that I call them. And he was doing it alone. They won in spite of Cliff Kingsbury, not because of him. You saw it week one. Week one is rookie season. I will Uncle Rico this for a minute. Week one, his rookie season, the Cardinals were down 2 scores going into halftime. Kyler Murray brings them back. Two massive drives. Rookie, first game. Goes to overtime. Matthew Stafford throws a ball that bounces off Tremaine Brock's chest plate that should have been an interception, and the Cardinals would have had a miraculous win in Kyler Murray's first game. Cliff Kingsbury was quoted, I know he was kind of joking, saying, I thought I was going to get fired at halftime. There was no shot for Kyler Murray to have a traditional, quote-unquote, upbringing as a rookie quarterback with how the organization was then. I think he did a pretty damn good job. Left somebody to be desired, of course, because the Cardinals didn't win a whole lot. But for Patrick Peterson to say that and not be there for him his rookie season because he cheated, that's rich. That's rich. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. Is the defense the best? Is the Arizona Cardinals defense the best unit in the NFC West? I think it needs to be discussed. We'll talk about that next. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by our dear friends at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here. The NBA playoffs are insane. And FanDuel is giving you new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join and place your first $5 bet, you get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. I don't know how to explain that. That's a lot if your first $5 bet wins. There's so many 3-1 series going on right now. You want to pick who's going to win the championship? You want to pick a long shot? You want to pick the favorite? FanDuel's got you covered. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. And again, I'll clarify again, this is not a direct personal attack at Patrick Peterson, the person, at all. This is the avatar of someone who did what he did while playing football. There's a clear distinction between the two. I just stated things that happened that are an opinion that happened. I'm sure he'll be in the Ring of Honor. I'm sure, amends have already been made. The scapegoat here. Oh, it was all about Steve Keim. Okay, whatever you guys and gals want to think, that's fantastic. I vehemently disagree, but that's fine. Is the Arizona Cardinals defense on pace to be the best unit in the NFC West? No, but could be. If you told me the Arizona Cardinals defense was top 7 in points per game against this year, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm not surprised. If you told me they were 13th in points per game against, yeah, okay. That's kind of the range. If they have a blowout year and they're top 5, the Cardinals are winning 10-plus games, and we're having, again, a very different conversation. They were 15th last year in total defense. That's crazy. So when you look at things like this and you look at what they did during the offseason, you look at what they did during the draft, obviously that was the focal point. Do you remember when they pretty much disregarded the cornerback position last year? We drafted Max Melton in the second, but it's like, oh, yeah, things have changed a little bit with the defense, hasn't it? Great vets, great rookies with great skill sets who can do multiple things. Budda Baker, Garrett Williams, Max Melton in the second year. That cornerback room is deep. I don't know who's going to make, I don't know which vets are going to make the cut. That's where the Cardinals are now. And I'm sure this year they're going to try and keep everybody, holding hands across America here, just to keep as many familiar faces as possible, people who know the scheme, even though, Bilal Nichols and Justin Jones were out for the majority of the year last year. Starling Thomas, where does he fit? He is the most unsung Cardinals defensive player. And that's on this show, that's on me. 1,000,000% on me. I will do better moving forward. I said it last week. I'll do better moving forward. They've got dudes now, like a lot of dudes. They've got a lot of talent. So while it's not them, I would still probably say it's the Rams offense. You say, oh, it's the 49ers defense. Why? Oh, it's the 49ers offense. Okay, I'll take Matthew Stafford over Brock Purdy. Brandon Ayuk out for the first 7 weeks. Deebo Samuel no longer there. Christian McCaffrey, who knows if this is a year where he'll play double. Football's always better when Christian McCaffrey plays. I don't care what team you're for. Is Ricky Pearsall going to be a dude? And George Kittle just got paid. Cool. Takes a whole lot of weight off Trey McBride's shoulders. It's never like, oh, he's the highest paid tight end in the NFL. It's like, it's not really something that you want tied to your name throughout an entire season if you can help it. It's like, yeah, let Georgie boy take it. But I think it's between those two. It's the Rams offense or the 49ers offense. And I would take the Rams offense. It's just Sean McVay just knows how to do it, man. He just knows how to do it. He just knows how to do it. Bring in Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua if he's healthy, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum. Like they drafted a tight end this year. It's going to be a stud. Just, I would say it's them, but it's getting closer. And if the Cardinals defense can keep up with the defenses of the NFC West, again, we're going to be having very different conversations. The Cardinals defense can win the Cardinals the 3 or 4 games that they couldn't win last year, where they got absolutely blown out. If that happens, that's 12-5. That's an NFC West crown. That's maybe a 2 seed. I know it's far. I know that's a huge jump. And I know obviously the offense has something to say with the 2. But this is the natural progression of rational and competent roster building. I know it took a little bit longer than some wanted. But this product, although not finished, is very, very close to being one that can wreak havoc on both sides of the ball as a cohesive unit for years to come. That's a far cry from where the Arizona Cardinals were just a couple years ago. Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. Remember, without you, there is no me. Donnie Drew from Sports Illustrated joins me tomorrow. I'll talk to you then.